Chapter 5, Aunt Phyllis. Now, remember, Claire's off to find some supplies for Duke, because he doesn't want to go home because of his nose. So it shows the bridge. The old lady had set us off on the big island across from the Blue Wing, the town where we lived. To get home, all I had to do was find the sandy lane leading to the steel girder bridge that spanned the river's main channel and connected the island to the town. Okay, so I think that's what the picture is of. So this is the steel, what is it right here? I'll do something. The steel girder bridge. So across the channel. So the channel must mean water right here. And if you're looking closely, you can even see her walking right there. Okay. From up on the big bridge, you can get a pretty good view of Blue Wing, which is built on a flat old sandbar that sits in the shadows of the bluff crowding the river. It's the kind of place that shines up good in the moonlight, with lots of crooked old buildings built over a forgotten Indian village. The only hill in town is a dike built to keep out the floods. I hustled home to get my sister Tessa's red wagon, plus a few cookies from the kitchen. A couple of apples for vitamins, some cans of tomato soup that nobody liked, and a bag of pretzels for starch. I shook my piggy bank dry, then put $1 back. Where was Duke going to spend money on a sandbar? From my place to Duke's was only a couple of blocks. He lived in a tidy white house with potted petunias out in front of a picket fence that kept their spaniel, Duff, from wandering off. Duke's dad, Norm, ran the no-leash dog obedience college, and Duff never barked unless ordered to. That was good. I didn't want a dog sounding the alarm while I loaded up on supplies. All I had to do was make sure Duke's parents weren't home, which was a cinch. Both their cars were gone. Since the neighbors knew me, I went directly to the garage without pretending to knock on any doors. I was climbing up a stepladder to reach a sleeping bag tucked in the rafters when the door opened and in stepped Duke's mom. She didn't bother asking why I was filling a red wagon with stuff from her garage. "What's he done now?" she whispered with a trembly voice. Duke's mom, Phyllis, was a school nurse who spent her days handing out hugs and Band-Aids. Didn't sound like she was surprised that he was in trouble, did it? She was small, what my mom called petite, and liked to wear jeans and T-shirts with pictures of things like 3 basic food groups on them. Duke's dad, Norm, was even a softer touch. They were the kind of parents you long for when your own were acting up. Where had they gone wrong with Duke weighed on them night and day, stooping their shoulders, stealing their sleep, and making them decide that one child was their limit. So they were trying to be the best parents, but Duke still turned out to be not a very nice little boy. "He's thinking about doing some camping," I reported, and needed a few things. Unless you were Duke, Aunt Phyllis wasn't someone you ever thought about lying to. "Why'd he send you?" "Well," I hesitated, "he's sort of busy getting his campsite ready." "What else?" Aunt Phyllis asked bravely. "I guess there was a little accident," I admitted. Her shoulders stiffened. "Nothing catastrophic," I assured her. "He just didn't want to bother you, that's all. He'd rather have us worry all night about whether he's alive and have the police looking for him and maybe even the National Guard, is it?" "Well," I fudged, "something's happened to his nose." "Fighting again?" Aunt Phyllis guessed, biting her lip to stop the tears. "Not that I know of," which was mostly true. He hadn't put up much of a fight with the 2 older bullies. Now, Claire's really trying not to lie to her aunt, but trying not to tell what really happened either. "Worse?" Aunt Phyllis's eyes widened. "It's growing kind of funny." When I held a finger 3 or 4 inches in front of my face to show her how funny, she covered her mouth with the hand and started blinking really hard. Her shock lasted only a minute, though. She was a school nurse after all. She had seen a lot. Turning professional, she grabbed my arm, saying, "Take me to him." That's how I ended up in the back of Aunt Phyllis's minivan, with Duke's eyes shooting lightning and hailstorms at me as we drove straight to the hospital. Because remember, Duke didn't want his parents to know he was trying to hide out. But Claire couldn't lie to her Aunt Phyllis, so now they're off to the hospital. what I want you to do is I want you to respond and saying, what do you think the hospital is going to say? When he goes in with a nose that's growing out like this and looking like a horn, what do you think the advice of the doctors is going to be?